Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Welcome to the Young Smirks podcast. Another episode of the Young Smirks podcast. Young Smirks, Smong Smirks. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Welcome to the Young Smirks podcast. Today we have a very special guest, but before we get to that, I'd just like to remind everyone, please click on the subscribe button on the YouTube channel, also on the Young Smirks channel, as well as the John Fontain channel. And just before we begin, I'd also like to give a big shout out and a big thanks to Seeking Reward Foundation. This is a charity based in Birmingham. I'd just like to thank you for your support. They've been supporting me on the podcast. And please go to their website below, look at the charitable work that they're doing, and you can get involved by supporting and donating towards them. They're a very good charity, mashallah, doing lots of projects, which simply is seeking a reward from Allah. So today, we have yet again another special guest, a good friend of mine, all the way from Kuwait, Sheikh Mohammad al-Naqwi. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How you doing?
Alhamdulillah, how about you?
Alhamdulillah.
Long time.
SubhanAllah, yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Qadar of Allah that we meet again.
I know,
Alhamdulillah.
SubhanAllah. So we've seen each other in quite a few countries.
Yeah, mashallah.
I think we met well, first of all, when I used to live in Kuwait.
True.
I used to see you a lot. You have your famous, if you like, Diwaniya
Yeah,
on
alhamdulillah.
a Friday evening,
Yeah.
which is, mashallah, you have many speakers come. You've had many famous people come down and join your Diwaniya. And it's specifically focused for new Muslims, right?
Yeah, Muslims,
Yeah.
English speakers, or English speaking community.
Inshallah. I want to speak more about that as well. So I think we originally met there, and then I think we was in England together as well.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
We was traveling in England.
Yeah.
Also, we went to Hong Kong. Do you remember that?
Yes, of course. I can't forget that, alhamdulillah.
So inshallah, through this podcast, I want to speak about some of these experiences we've
Yeah,
had
sure.
and some of the work that you're doing as well, because you're, mashallah, you're into dawah, not just in Kuwait, but you've been traveling quite a lot around the world. So I want to speak about some of these points. So how you doing, bro?
Alhamdulillah, by the will of Allah, all good.
Yeah. So tell us about yourself. When did you come to Kuwait yourself?
I'm born and raised in Kuwait.
Okay, mashallah.
Yeah, my father came to Kuwait since 50s.
Mashallah.
So the whole life he lived here. The whole family members, all my brothers and sisters, from Kuwait.
Yeah.
I'm the last one. Yeah, they call it last piece. So I'm the last one.
Save the best till last.
Yeah. So I'm the last one, the youngest. So we are all born and raised in Kuwait. It's, considered as the first country that we live in, and alhamdulillah, living all this years, I consider it's a part of our life. Like you cannot think to go somewhere else. And mashallah, you've been to Kuwait. Of course, I'm not adding anything. It's a wonderful country. It is a wonderful country.
Really
You can live, massages
peaceful.
everywhere. You can sit in the masjids. That the Diwaniya that we have the gathering, weekly gathering. It is in the masjid. It's
I don't
open for
think you
everyone.
realised how good Kuwait was until you started travelling a bit more. When you started travelling to England and different places, you realise, wow,
Yes.
Kuwait really is a good country.
Yeah.
SubhanAllah.
True. Yeah, and you realize that they say there's a saying in Arabic, once you lose something, you realize its value.
Yeah,
You know?
SubhanAllah.
So of course I didn't lose anything, but of course once you came out from that zone that you are living in and you went outside, and even I was saying, to the brothers, Allah says in the Quran, فَسِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ or قُلْ سِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Many, maybe more than 10 times, Allah Almighty mentioned that in the Quran. It says, travel in the land, go in the land, walk in the land, means travel.
Yeah.
And once you travel, you see things.
Yeah.
You see things.
SubhanAllah.
You see the
see a
same
lot
thing
of
with
things,
you, mashallah. You're a traveler.
Yeah.
So whenever you travel, of course, it's about the will of Allah. Many people travel. Everyone travel. But even though there's an ayah in the Quran, Allah says some people, they travel, but they cannot see, they cannot hear, and Allah blinded their heart. So they go and come and as nothing happened, But once you go and, you ask Allah to bless you, you see things, even though it's a normal thing, but you see and you realize, you reflect, you say, SubhanAllah. That's amazing. So exactly. So once you travel, so I saw things, I said, Alhamdulillah, I'm in a ni'mah.
Yeah, subhanAllah. You know, I was, you know, leaving Kuwait. I didn't realize until I lived in Kuwait, like how bad England is. Sorry for not using a better term, but you know, subhanAllah, it's so, like, there's so many bad things in society where when you live there and you grew up there, you don't really see it until you've lived in such a peaceful, safe country like Kuwait. You really don't see it.
Sure.
I remember you was in Manchester with me. I was driving you around the ghetto.
Yeah.
I took you around, showing you around the Muslim areas, and you were shocked. How did you feel about visiting the Muslims in the UK?
Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah. Again, Muslims at the end, you know, their brotherhood is there, but it's Subhanallah. Yani, you feel the brotherhood is there, but still few bits and pieces missing. Like, you know, the wall is there, but you know, you will feel that there are bricks and then one is missing, and there are some bricks and then one is missing. You know, so somehow, you know, yani, for example, for me, I don't hear adhan. For me, it's like something. No, it's not usual.
SubhanAllah.
If I don't hear adhan, you know, yes, people say you have the application, you have mobile. Okay, that's something else. But
It's not the same.
hearing the adhan, actual adhan, while you're sleeping, and then the fajr goes on, or while you're driving, or while you're in the market, and then the maghrib and isha goes on, and you hear, it's different feeling. It's different feeling.
It changes the whole
Yeah,
society.
yeah. This is just one aspect I'm talking about. There are many other things, but you know, of course, you know, you see, of course, good and bad people everywhere. You know, I'm not saying I'm living in a place where the all angels. You know, yes, good and bad people everywhere, but living in a place that you see most of the time the hijabi woman, the niqabi woman, the abaya woman. You know, that's alhamdulillah. You know, your kids growing up looking that. That's, yeah. But of course, there are some other people as well. But still, you have balance. But once you go out in any other country, in a Muslim country, you know what will happen. The dress they wear in summer, and you talk. You know, you say, you know, talk wala haraj. You know, you talk, and there is nothing will stop you. You can keep explaining how the things is going on. So yeah, these are the things. Subhanallah, you feel it.
A few years ago, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, we went to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
We visited the book fair. We had a book stand, alhamdulillah, with the brothers from Kuwait. They had a big book stand and was giving dawah. What do you think about dawah in Hong Kong? Was that your first? That was your second time.
Second time
when I came.
Yes, yes, it was my second time. The dawah in Hong Kong is amazing, even though it's a part of China. And we understand that China is like, you can do nothing. You know, they don't have their own Facebook or WhatsApp or whatsoever. So it's a very restricted country. But even though if you know, if the brothers and sisters, those who are you know, watching this, they can go to the Google and they see the China, like, you know, big China. They keep scrolling until they will see a small dot next to China. This is Hong Kong. But because
a lot of people don't realize, like, literally, I think less than 50 years, right? It's going to be fully ruled by China.
Yes,
right? At the moment, it's
30 actually.
Huh?
Less than 30.
Less than 30.
2047, it will go back to China. So now, because
I know that's why you've been focusing on dawah specifically in Hong Kong, while you've got the opportunity.
Exactly. So that's why about the Hong Kong, people can look. It's a very tiny country, 8 million population, but it's a democratic country. Everything is open. Dawah, you can do street dawah, you can do public dawah. Everything is open. Alhamdulillah, that's why we got the opportunity, because they have a book fair every year. You know, every year they have a book fair for 1 week. Within the 1 week, the estimate number of visitors 1.2 million. You know, more or less. Wow. So it's like you have opportunity for 1.2 million coming to you. You talk to them. So this was the first thing we went. You know, the first time, and I saw that, you know, this will not gonna work alone. So I have to call the Superman. So I called John Fontain to come and join me.
Mashallah. Jazakallah khair. Thanks for the invitation. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
One of the points, though, do you remember I was wearing a brown thobe? And subhanAllah, they thought that I was like a Buddhist monk.
Yeah.
You know, imagine a white guy looking a bit of a hippie or whatever, and I've got this brown thobe. Yeah. They just presumed I was like a Buddhist monk or something. Sure. You know? So I know you gave me a good throw. I had to reinforce that we were Muslims. I remember we were walking down the streets of Hong Kong, you know, with the
And you can walk, no one will talk to you,
very
nothing,
safe,
everything
no
good,
problem.
everything is good. Eventually, just like, subhanAllah, by coincidence, I was just checking old files in the computer, and out of nowhere, I got the folder where we have these pictures.
SubhanAllah.
Just a few days ago, out of nowhere, wallahi, you know, that we are standing and you are wearing the thobe, and I also made you to wear the bisht, you know. So,
I remember that.
the bisht
SubhanAllah,
in the hotel.
That was fun.
Yeah. So alhamdulillah, it was wonderful.
It's a good time.
We enjoyed. And by the way, the next year I went, but of course, you know, alone I couldn't do it much. Of course, the brothers are there, but of course, these brothers from the organization, but still, you know, they are good in organizing, but they don't have the street da'wah experience. So I by myself couldn't do. You know, I'm not a Superman who can face 1.2 million by myself. So next time I took you with me, but still, you know, I remember we start morning 9 o'clock,
yes,
and it goes until 9 evening.
Yeah.
After 5 hours, we both zombies.
Yeah.
We are there, but we are not there, you know.
Yeah.
So you're taking one side, we are.
Yeah.
So the next year, I took almost 10 brothers.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, the second year, I took 10 brothers from,
That's better.
a brother from Birmingham, Abu Isa, a brother from Manchester, Abdurrahim, a brother from Kuwait, Ali Bashara from Bahrain.
Oh, Abdurrahim went with you.
Abdurrahim went with me, Ali Bashara went
He's
with
with
me,
me, mashallah.
Imran from Discover Islam, also from Bahrain, a Filipino brother from. So we had 10 brothers. Last moment, 2 backed out, so we were 8. And we, alhamdulillah, scheduled the whole day. So we will give da'wah, we will go back and have some rest and then come back. And the whole day, alhamdulillah, the estimate thing what we count, that we gave da'wah within 7 days, the proper da'wah, like 15 minutes da'wah, not only giving the 15 minutes da'wah, this was considered as a proper da'wah to more than 1,000 people or more.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, this was the proper da'wah.
And
Distributing, and of course, this is in thousands, of course. You know.
I remember when I came with you as well, we met my sister as well. Do you remember?
Yeah.
MashaAllah, she was actually working there at the time. Recently, you've just traveled to Thailand. Where have you been recently?
I've been to Thailand, and then, of course, because, sorry?
Indonesia?
Yes, been to Thailand, and then Indonesia, then Malaysia, then Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, so just quick tour into all these countries, see how the Muslims doing, how in general the country is doing, what's the opportunities for the da'wah, and all these things. But alhamdulillah, it was a good trip.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
And I also want to speak about your weekly Diwaniyah as well. MashaAllah, you have many new Muslims in Kuwait, different backgrounds. You got people who are in the American Army, people in the British Army, you got white, black, brown, all different types of brothers. And subhanAllah, I was really happy when I came to Kuwait to have, to be able to visit your Diwaniyah, see some of the new Muslims. And they're all at different levels. Even today, I've come to your Diwaniyah, and subhanAllah, I've seen a few new faces as well.
Yeah.
You had more people coming. How is the da'wah generally in Kuwait at the moment?
Alhamdulillah, da'wah is wonderful. No restrictions, nothing. As you know, it's no one will say you why you're doing this and why. But of course, everyone have to go through the proper channel. No one will stop you. We extended our da'wah not only in the street da'wah, we are doing the street da'wah, but with the street da'wah, alhamdulillah, we are also giving da'wah to the officials coming through the ministries. So we have a football player, could be anyone. I'm not familiar with soccer and football and all these things, but let's say you have any big person coming from, let's say, UK, or any other team, Barcelona or Real Madrid or whatever. So the people call us and says, well, so-and-so team is here. So we prepare a VIP gifts for them. With this gift, there's a booklet about Islam, there's a Quran, there's something like a ship, because the Kuwait used to do the diving and everything. So we have the symbol, even the Kuwait logo is with this ship, So we prepare all these things and we go and give them. So either it's football players or some other sports, doctors, anyone coming from outside. Alhamdulillah, we know that, okay, these people, they respect the guest, they give them the gift, let them know about the culture of Kuwait and everything. With it, of course, they will know about Islam. So alhamdulillah, we are doing this. And
you're one of the brothers as well that you do the English khutbah as well.
Yeah.
Yourself, is it IIC? ICK?
There's ICK.
ICK.
There's a Da'wah Now as well.
Now.
Yeah, and IPC.
IPC.
The Da'wah Now group, that is our group, the volunteer of 200 plus volunteers doing Da'wah. They are under IPC because, as I told you, to do anything, you need an official umbrella. So IPC is one of the Da'wah centers in Kuwait, more than 40 years, mashallah, in Kuwait. Mashallah, many, big number, more than, I think, 85 to 90,000 people accepted Islam since the beginning till now. More than 1 million booklet distributed during 40 years. And mashallah,
more than
more.
You see their books all over the world.
Subhanallah. So we are, doing the khutbah in English. And alhamdulillah,
you've got yourself, is it ICK?
Yes.
And Sheikh Ahmed as well, Ahmed Ram.
Yeah.
Use the kind of the three which do English khutbah.
Yes.
So the people that can't speak Arabic in
they
Kuwait, they can go to certain masajid on a Friday and they can hear the khutbah.
And you have a big number, by the way, because in Kuwait, the Kuwaitis are the total population, you can say 5 million. Let's say 5 million. It's a little less, but 5 million. Out of 5 million, 1.5 is Kuwaitis. And
it's not much.
and rest of it is all expats. And in expats, you have Indians, they don't talk Arabic. You have Filipinos, they don't talk Arabic. You have a big number of expats, they don't talk Arabic, and they're Muslims. So alhamdulillah, so they come to the English mosque, they listen to and even in the mosques, they come and they listen to the English khutbah, and they are Kuwaitis. They're Kuwaitis, so they come and many people, I ask them, what's the reason and what is the what makes you to come to the masjid? He says, well, we like the English khutbah. This is something new, because their whole life, 20 years, 25 years, they're going to the Arabic khutbah. So for them, English khutbah is something new. So they're just coming, So alhamdulillah. So we are doing also da'wah there as well. Alhamdulillah.
Mashallah. I know a lot. Your Arabic, mashallah, it's very pure. Obviously, you're born and raised in Kuwait.
Yeah.
But even Kuwaitis are surprised with your Arabic. Like I've noticed they're like, subhanallah.
Yeah.
You put a lot of effort into your.
Alhamdulillah. This is my advice to
even your English as well, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah. Practice. So, wallahi, my advice regarding the Arabic language to my brother John, to all my brothers and sisters everywhere. They say there's a saying, when you write on a you crave on a stone, while it's an Arabic saying, so I'm trying to translate. النقش على الحجر التعليم في الصغر كالنقش على الحجر. Teaching anyone at the early age is like craving on a stone, and teaching anyone at the late age is writing on a water. So which means, you have son, daughter, brother, whatsoever, at the early age, let them go through the Arabic, English, Quran, everything. And there's another, of course, altogether another strategy and study. We think as parents, we are exhausting or putting pressure and pressurizing our children. There's nothing called pressurizing our children. They got tired, but they never get pressurized. Me and you get pressurized because, yes, at the end of the month, I have to pay the rent of my house. I have to pay the bill of my mobile. This is pressurized, right? But the kids, they don't have any responsibility. They get tired, yes. So teach them as much as possible. You will see the result later on. And as it says, you teach them at the early age, it's like craving on the stone.
It sticks,
It sticks. But you teach them at the age of 30, 40, or later on a person got interested, it's like writing on the water. You just write and it goes. Yes, of course, by Allah's assistance and will, maybe a person can hold upon what he is learning and everything, but it's not like
it's not the same
as kids. So this is my advice. This is my father did. He put all of us in Arabic schools. So by the way, we at home we talk Arabic. We talk Arabic, pure Arabic, and even if there's something serious and we want to talk and finish the thing, Arabic. We cannot talk in our own language. Wallahi, that means like, our Arabic is number one. Yes, alhamdulillah. And it helps you later on with the Quran and a lot of other things. Yeah, so of course that's very important.
What advice would you give to the brothers and sisters living in the West? Where they might not know what it's like living in the Gulf or living in a Muslim country. what advice would you give them?
MashaAllah. Well, my advice to everyone, especially as you said, those who are living in Western countries or non-Muslim countries. Allah Almighty said in the Quran, كِتَابٌ أَنزَلْنَاهُ إِلَيْكَ مُبَارَكٌ. A blessed book sent down upon you, O Muhammad, and the nation of Muhammad. Okay, what is the purpose of it? لِيَدَّبَّرُوا آيَاتِهِ. So they ponder upon its verses. So it's very clear in the Quran. The reason Allah sent this blessed book down upon the nation of Muhammad, لِيَدَّبَّرُوا آيَاتِهِ. So they do tadabbur on the verses. They ponder upon the verses. Worldwide Muslims, they memorize Quran. They put their children to memorize Quran in order to say Hafiz. He's Hafiz. I am Hafiz. My son is Hafiz. He's memorized of the Quran. We all read the Quran cover to cover in Ramadan in order to finish it and get the reward. Allah will reward us for sure. But where is tadabbur? What Allah Almighty sent this book for?
To understand and reflection.
You will never understand the book if you don't know the language. You will never. So my advice is, yes, we are teaching. I've been to Indonesia. In Indonesia, in every island, in every corner, there's a madrasa where 500 people, then 1,000, even in a big island, there are 10,000 students at once memorizing Quran in 2-3 years, which is good, alhamdulillah. But simple question. You read Fatiha every day. You read Qul Huwallahu Ahad. If you ask a simple person what does Samad means, every day you say Allahu Samad, Allahu Samad. He will hang. Khalas. I don't know. So if you, with the memorizing of Arabic language, if you go through the little bit of Arabic classes, now alhamdulillah everything is now online. Even a few days back, I was getting messages from everywhere that Medina University established a new course teaching online. Arabic online,
I've seen that.
Worldwide. MashaAllah. So it means we have no hujjah, we have no excuse for ourselves, for our children, for our whosoever. We are responsible for ourselves and the family. So my advice is, yes, the Quran is a blessed book. It's our guidance. But in order to understand and ponder, as Allah Almighty wants from us, we should learn Arabic. Yeah.
Also, I want to. You work with the organization Jud.
Yeah.
In Kuwait.
Yes.
And I want to thank Jud as well. They supported me as well when I went to New Zealand.
MashaAllah.
MashaAllah, they supported the print of some of the books. So I just want to give them a shout out on the podcast.
Sure. Jud Society, MashaAllah, it's one of the amazing. And these are one of the few organizations. In Kuwait, I think only one. And worldwide, I think only few who are focusing on teaching Arabic. They are only like a laser point teaching Arabic, and they want to revive. I will not say spread. They want to revive Arabic language as it was. If you just go through some of the letters of the kings in Western European country, they are sending letters to the Khalifa, of Muslims, saying that we would like to send our daughters, and this is easily available on YouTube. We would like to send our daughters or son to your country in order to learn in your universities, so they can know the Arabic language. So they used to study and go back, and while they're talking in English or in European language, they have to put some Arabic words in order to show that they are modern people. But unfortunately, look, now it's become upside down. Even the Arab people now, they have to put some English words in their talk in order to show that they are educated, unfortunately. But even though the Arabic language is the language of the Quran, language of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, language of people of Jannah. So it's very important for all of us. So this is my advice, and I ask Allah Almighty to bless us all.
So yeah, that's it. I'd just like to thank you for joining us for the Young Smirks podcast. Have you subscribed?
It's a good question. I have to check.
Make sure you subscribe.
Inshallah.
And anyone at home as well, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel for Young Smirks, as well as John Fontain YouTube channel. The full version of the podcast is on the Young Smirks channel, but there's some excerpts and some clips, smaller clips, which you'll find on my personal YouTube. Also the Facebook, Young Smirks, as well as John Fontain. Make sure you like and subscribe, and also share the podcast, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think, and give us a comment on who you would like to see on the up and coming shows. But that's all we have time for today. Thanks for
Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.